So this is session 21 of the Eberron Out of Time game. Uh, Either Peter or Tony, what do you remember of what happened last time?
Um,
Elson paid for everything.
yeah, that's true. Elson had
There,
to
Yep.
was
there
pulling his
were
weight.
efforts. Yeah, there
Yep.
were efforts to get Elzen to pay
I did see in the
for
notes,
more things.
I did see in the summary that he paid 5 Galifar for room.
Yeah, there was a suggestion that you pay to have Thaldarin's armor, adamant armor, resized. I mean,
Mhm.
It's what your character would have done. So.
but yeah, so you arrived at the place that Professor Boreth said you should go to stay, which is an inn in the Underlook district, Middledura, called the Watchman's Rest. There you met Tick, who is the proprietress of the Watchman's Rest. She told Pebble not to touch the clocks, as there are many clocks on the walls and they all show different times. Some people took that as a challenge,
Yeah.
wanting Pebble to touch all the clocks. Um, but she spoke to you a bit and told you where you could get different services and discussed her situation generally and her relationship to Professor Bareth. Uh, you know, other people who are in similar situations to you. You then, the next day, you went to the King of Fire. Later that night, you went to the King of Fire, which is a tavern not that far away from Watchman's Rest, but in a different neighborhood called Harris Folly. There, you went to the second floor where you were ushered into a room by a Yuan Ti woman who you then met a middle-aged human male who was Sabius Vereen, who probably is some sort of spy master for the government of Breland. You explained to him about what was going on in Black Pit, and he revealed to you that the friend who probably aided you in escaping from Deleuze to Kunderax jails was almost certainly Lita Tanith because he somehow knew the name and you hadn't otherwise mentioned her. Um, he talked to you about, because you're supposed to go and find Heloise Truun, talked to you about her a bit. He didn't seem like he knew a lot, but you convinced him that you would share information that you found in her apartment if he could get you information on when she would be out of it so that you could essentially break in and try to find out what you could about her relationship with Abelard and what she might know about what's going on or what happened in Black Pit. He told you he would try to get that information for you, but you'd have to come back the next night to meet with him.
Yeah. Uh,
So you made your way out, returned to the Watchman's Rest, where you got a night's sleep, or at least most of you did. Uh, and I think I got it wrong in my summary. I said Thaldarin found a story by Ral Partha in the Sharn Inquisitive, but that was Lee who stayed up all night reading newspapers. So Lee read about that. In the morning after getting breakfast, that's where Elzin did pay for the lodging because I figured Elzin probably would do that much. On your way out, someone failed a perception check, and so you wound up getting into a small argument with a dragonborn who happened to notice you and looked at you. Uh, but he was sufficiently intimidated by your pushing back on him that he stopped looking at you, started averting his gaze specifically so as not to get into any sort of confrontation with you. He was, tried to play it tough for a second or two, but Thaldarin set him straight. As you were walking away, there was a man who plummeted from a higher bridge and landed on the ground with a fake, probably once real, but now disenchanted Featherfall token falling from his hand as he fell. So letting you know that people do sometimes sell counterfeit Featherfall tokens So you should be on the lookout for that if you need to buy any. You went to get the two very large, almost eggplant-sized gemstones that Pebble was carrying appraised, and got that happened. One was worth 1,500 and one was worth 2,000 Galifar. Um, there was like, so it sort of split up into two little encounters, but also Thaldarin went to an armorer that was recommended by Tick to get the adamantine plate armor resized for a human, which the armorer said he could do, but it was going to cost like a fair bit of money, 250 gold, and a week to do it. So that was where Elzin, I couldn't commit Elzin to paying 250 gold to resize this armor. But eventually you sold one of the two gems, the 1,500 gold piece gem, for 750 gold. And Pebble gave that sack of money to Thaldarin to pay for the armor. You got briefly stuck in a malfunctioning lift and saw a formation of Pegasi flying overhead in a fairly tight, orderly formation as they were practicing for upcoming races. And at that point, you returned to Morgrave University as you were supposed to meet with Professor Bareth again, as he was going to give you further instructions and identity documents. Or you were going to, rather, you were going to tell him what you wanted your identity documents to reflect so that he could begin to set up fake identities for you in case anyone ever does any investigating into your backgrounds. And so you had just arrived back in Professor Bareth's office at Morgrave University. So, have you given any additional thought to what you want your identities to be?
Yes. I wish to be and in Tenwater from the Temeri Plains. I think it's the Temeri Plains, right?
I am not sure what they're called.
It was the plains that you said that it was the plains that you said my character could
Oh,
be
oh, the Talenta Plains.
Talenta Plains. Yeah. Ah, and I'll type that out. I am visiting from the Talenta Plains. That is why other members from my house may not recognize me. This should be a sufficient backstory.
I mean, we could put additional detail into the records, but the Talenta Plains often doesn't have records to begin with. It might create a complication if people notice you have a dragon mark and are not a Galandra, but your dragon mark is well hidden.
Yes, I plan to keep it under wraps.
That
Unless
will
that's
make it
something.
harder for you to assert your family name.
Well, under wraps unless I absolutely need to. Um, you know, I'll make use of it wisely, I suppose.
That's fair enough. It may never come up, but you never know. People like that Ral Partha fellow have done quite a bit of investigating into my associates. The Thalenta Plains, though, being on the other side of the Mournland and not having great records of its more rural residents to begin with, might stymie his efforts to find out more.
Why have you not dealt with him more seriously?
What exactly would you have me do to him? He's a reporter doing his job. Anything I could do would just hang a lantern on the fact that there's something to investigate, except maybe kill him. But then I couldn't guarantee that somebody else wouldn't just pick up where he left off, especially if he died.
Hmm. Have you tried just giving him information to investigate?
No, but I'm not sure what I would give him. If I send him on a wild goose chase, that might delay him for a while. As it is, I have compartmentalized information enough that he's raising uncomfortable questions, but he has no proof. So there have been no written, published stories about us yet. Though some of the less reputable rags in this city don't necessarily care about proof. And he like holds up one of the newspapers.
Does it have a story about him?
So it is the Sharn Expositor, which is kind of a competitor of the Sharn Inquisitive, but you could see the main story is gnomes from Zalargos Trust brainwashed my husband. And he looks at it, says, I mean, that might be true. You never know with the trust.
The guy seems pretty good at his job, this journalist. Have you considered recruiting him?
I don't know whether or not he can be trusted. He seems to publish all of the stories he can gather evidence on. We're lucky that he seems to require concrete evidence. Like I said, he hasn't published anything yet. I suppose I could try to recruit him, but I don't know if he can be trusted to keep it secret. It remains an option if push
Hmm.
comes to shove. But depending on what you do, you may run into him again. Just tell him nothing, smile, and pretend he's crazy. Seems to have worked so far.
Hmm.
It's not that easy with the Pengal.
That is true.
It's like look over. I guess he's
That's true.
napping or something.
He Pebble did spend he did drink a fair bit more alcohol than he's used to. So I imagine he is at the Watchman's Rest, hungover. Possibly with like actual visible stars like circling his head as he
Right.
like sways back
Ooh.
and forth.
Stomach visibly rumbling,
Right.
like
He
a mirage shimmer.
occasionally vomits up a fish and then swallows it back down.
Oh.
Mm.
It's like being, like a little baby bird again. Just swallow down what gets coughed up.
You gotta make sure to clip this part and send it to Mike.
His story should be relatively easy since he's from the Frostfell. There's not really any way to double check anything going on in the Frostfell, except maybe perhaps magically. Nor do I have any ability to plant false documentation in the Frostfell, so easy enough for him to just go with he's a Pengal from the Frostfell. What about you, Lee? Do you have a preference?
No, Lee Irakokra from the Azure Sky.
That is also next to impossible to verify anything about, as not much is known about the so societal structures there, how the villages are arranged, even where the villages are, since what limited patches of land there are tend to shift around in the never-ending skies. What about you, Thaldarin?
Um, is it easier if it seems like I'm from out of town? I would assume so.
It
It would be
depends.
pretty. It would be somewhat apparent. Maybe I
In
grew up here as a
some
child, but
right, in some ways, it is certainly easier to plant documents here in town for me since it's close and it can be done more quickly. But picking a place that's out of the way means fewer people would be able to question why it is you don't necessarily know the layout or the customs here. So in that sense, the further the way, the better.
Might I be some recruit to escort our? What name did you pick, Elzen?
And in 10 water.
Is Andon Tenwater somebody who would have a personal guard? I had imagined you being sort of more rural and mundane.
Yes. I could have run across Thalderin or in the travels here, and then certainly we could be companions. But I wouldn't expect to be a guard in the sense of a hired guard.
Related? Obviously not.
We could be brothers in arms.
Isn't Elzen a wizard
Sorcerer or
or
warlock.
sorcerer? Oh, okay. Even stranger. Okay. Um, sure. Old
Could
friends,
plant,
maybe I'm traveling with.
we could plant multiple levels of evidence so that if anyone finds out that you are from House Galandra, then people could also uncover that Thaldarin is a registered bodyguard. Not in the Talenta Plains, of course, but possibly in Karnath.
That would work. That would at least make it look plausible.
I don't know if I don't see any reason why I should need to change my name.
No, no one would know your name.
Perfect.
It's just more fun when you choose a new name.
I like my name.
Have you had any luck in approaching either your contact Vereen or Heloise Truun?
We got some stuff in the works for Heloise.
I am working on finding you a permanent apartment that you can live in Sharn, at least while you're here. I don't have, other than following up on Heloise's connection to the Aurum and whatever happened in Black Pit, I don't have any current missions for you. But he reaches into his desk and pulls out 4 envelopes and hands them over to you. This should help you with expenses. I wouldn't go and try to get any property directly just yet, anything that's not temporary at least, as they will try to verify your identities if you attempt to secure permanent lodging. It's better to do that after I've established your backstories.
Very well.
It's fine. I like Tick's place.
Hmm.
Tick's Place sometimes draws eyes itself. It's not unusual for Ralpartha to show up there. So I try
Sure.
not to use it as often as I might otherwise. But Tick herself is discreet.
Were did you and I don't remember if this happened, but did you send the message or prepare the message for the uh about what happened at Black Pit for Hermes?
Oh, I have started to prepare one. That is not exactly time sensitive, as it's going to take uh, almost 200 years to get to him. We'll have to plant it in the library here in a very particular way and in a very particular section and in a code that won't draw suspicion if someone else should find it. But I've started to prepare that for them.
Okay. I know
I
it.
would
I know there's not a rush by
I
any
would
stretch.
love to see that cipher.
I like to compartmentalize information, but let's see how things develop, and perhaps I'll show it to you and teach it to you. The trick is it has to look like something that would otherwise be in the library normally, with enough differences that somebody who knows to be looking for the cipher will identify it as something with a code embedded within it, which is why it takes time to prepare these reports.
How many books are in the library?
So you don't know exactly in the future where you're from, more than like several thousand, but only a fraction of the library survived.
Hmm, sure.
So I actually don't know whether or not any of you would have yourselves gone into the library. Um, the Shepherds of Times kind of kept it sort of locked down. If you were really interested in it, they might have let you into it.
Yeah, I don't think Elzen would have.
Molly wouldn't have seen the point. What was in there he knew about already,
Right.
and books are for nerds.
Yeah. I'm and Thaldrin's not smart enough to know what's going on in there normally.
So if you need additional funds, just come back and see me, and I can arrange for more. I will try to find missions that suit your talents, in which case, once I either have your identification papers or something additional that I need you to look into, I will, or if I've arranged for your permanent lodging, I'll send a messenger to find you at the Watchman's Rest. But otherwise, I think you should enjoy your time resting up here in the past. It's a very different world than the one you left. It's far more luxurious than what you're used to.
That's definitely true. Still has the pickpockets though.
Still does. And it also no longer has all of the amenities of House Galandra providing for the poor.
Right.
That it does not. And I noticed that right away. Well, let's make our way and let's leave our friend. Let him get back to what he's been doing.
How much was in these envelopes?
So you open up the envelopes, and in there you find each envelope has a letter of credit in your actual character name for 1,000 gold, though you have to go to House Kundarak Bank in order to cash it.
Into the heart of the enemy.
Hmm.
Watch those envelopes, by the way. They're in bearer form. Anyone who steals it can show up and claim the money. Eventually, when your IDs are in, I'll be able to issue letters of credit in your specific names, in which case you would need ID to cash it. Although even then, they can be stolen and fenced on the black market at somewhat of a discount.
Hmm. Tuck that
Once you
in.
have your IDs, I would recommend that you not actually carry cash. Better to have a safe deposit box and letters of credit. They're easier to transport.
Uh, Alzen disappears momentarily as he goes into his couch amulet. And pulls aside. I imagine he also has like a lava lamp or like, some equivalent of a lava lamp. Maybe it's like an Eberron shard or something that just kind of moves like lava. Yeah, but he stores the object in that space and then comes out.
We
What is
just
he?
put all our
That's
shit in
that's
there.
true. That was a I forgot that Thaldarin did get pickpocketed at the King of Fire. That was another one of I was like everyone roll. I have decided to try to whenever I say like to make a roll and people fail to not just have nothing happen. But that was another one where the roll didn't successfully see the pickpocket. So I just said, okay, Thaldarin, you see a different pickpocket like across the room. But it was the thing that he missed.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can leave objects in the vessel and they remain there until carried out, or if it's destroyed, the objects appear outside.
Right. So that you're generally aware, he was mistaken when he said you have to go to a House Kundarak bank. You don't necessarily have to, but you do have to. It can be more challenging. Like, your average merchant isn't necessarily going to accept the letter of credit, and they can't like break it up and give you a different letter of credit back. Uh, that's weird. Sounds like somebody's talking. Do you hear that? Is it just me?
Yeah.
Oh. Um, so very wealthy merchants might take a letter of credit and give you coin in exchange for it. The issues are sometimes, rarely, these things can be faked. And so if you're not really familiar with them, you could wind up accepting a worthless forgery rather than a real letter of credit. And so that's why at a Kundarak bank, they definitely will accept these things, and other people, it's more hit or miss. But it means that generally you can, accumulate vast sums of wealth and not necessarily be bogged down carrying coins.
Why don't we just keep all of our stuff inside your little pocket dimension?
Yeah, what are the limits on that? You can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Can only
Yeah,
access.
I think it was. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only access it twice a day.
Oh, I see.
But is there like, can you basically just like put your hand on the side of a house and take the whole house with you?
No, I mean it's a 20 foot. I mean, I'll post the spell, but it's a 20 foot radius cylinder that's 20 feet high. So, you know, you can there are limits to how much you could store.
Yeah, I assume you basically have to have it on you and be able to like carry it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like because you bring it with you when you go in, so you would have to be able to you'd have to be bearing it.
Hmm.
And does it say whether or not you can take other people?
Not yet.
I think, yeah, I don't think I can.
Later level. Later level, you could do that.
Hmm.
So yeah, that might be a way to get around some of the the carrying limits, at least for manageable items.
Elzen would take, he just went in to do it. But if there was going to be like, if you wanted him to keep your other or like store your other your other papers in there, he could have brought them in. So do you want to hold on to your 1,000 Galifar letters of credit, or do you want them stored in the locket dimension?
Well, I mean, I figured because I it would probably be a little weird for all of us to show up and redeem these all at once. So I figured redeem one. It's 1,000 gold that we can
Yeah,
use.
he would say it really wouldn't be that unusual. Like the Kundarak banks, if you go to the bank, it'll be like a lineup of people, many of whom will be cashing these things in. So it is very common transaction.
I see.
Among a certain set, the very poor people don't use letters of credit, but like nobody wants to carry 1,000 gold pieces around with them for the most part. So you could even go there and get like 20 physical gold pieces and a new letter of credit for 980. You may piss off the clerk who now has to like, go and get a second person to come in and prepare the documentation, do the witnessing and all that. But you could have them make change, and part of that is a different letter of credit for a different amount. Or you could go in and get them to, you have to go if you wanted to endorse. Yours are in bearer form, but if you wanted to endorse them over to somebody else and it was in your name, you could do that as well in the bank.
Mm, I see. Well, then either way, I mean, we don't necessarily need to be carrying around thousands of gold.
Right.
So let's hang on to some of these. At least we've got some amount of money at the moment as a group, at least.
Yes.
I even I even have a pouch that is just Pebbles money that I just am taking the change that he's handing over to people, and I'm just going to keep it to buy him things.
Olsen was he's gonna remember this the next time that Thaldurin tries to get Olsen to pay for something. He's like, well, we got money. We're fine.
Yeah, as a group, yeah, we do.
We
Are
have
you not part of the group?
we have a bank.
Yeah, it's fine. Now we definitely have what we need. I mean, I guess could you if you could put like maybe we could just extract it all and then you put it all into your necklace pocket thingy.
Yeah. Just don't want to lose the necklace.
Well, then you could just perform a thing to get it back, right?
That is true. Yeah, it will it appears on the outside of it. If it's destroyed.
Just don't throw it in the lava.
So, did we get any leads from uh and I was reading the session summary beforehand. The
Sabius, Vereen.
yeah, yeah, it's Sabius Varun.
So you had been warned that he is a patriot, for like a Brellish patriot in the end. And so not, your interests probably align, but he didn't necessarily give you a lot more information than you had. You shared information with him. Um, but he did agree to get you information on how you might get into Heloise Truun's private apartment.
Right.
And I see no reason why he wouldn't let us go into the danger for him.
Right. He also stressed that if you get caught, break, because she's pretty wealthy and prominent. So if you get caught, he doesn't know you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously.
He was very clear about that. And he was partially doing it because there was an agreement to share information with him, which he is
Mhm.
basically just trusting you on.
Hmm.
Well, as far as you know, he's trusting you on it. So Professor Boreth looks over his desk and says, "Do any of you have any pressing needs that you need my help with?" I
Uh,
am, if nothing, a wealth of information.
I I would like access to the library. And
Uh,
he he kind of produces out of the ground his staff. It has been Asterius Angus has been uh, trying to reach out, and I wish to do more research on the nature of this. I'm convinced that there's some amount of some latent power locked within that I haven't been able to figure out yet. And the first place I could think of would be the library.
that makes some sense, I suppose. Asterius Anguis, that's a name. It's familiar, but I can't quite place it.
He would, like show the staff and allow him to take a look at it since he's proven his trust.
So yeah, he takes a quick look at it and says, "Well, visual inspection isn't ringing any bells for me, but still the name is familiar. I can arrange for you to get access to the university library easily enough. You'll need either a faculty or a student ID, but I can very easily get you one of those. I could probably have that for you in the morning. Wish I could place the name."
I am sure it will come to you.
What's the name?
The Hysterius Anguis. It is,
Asterius Anguis?
yes. I can type the name.
Hey, Molly, you got any ideas on this? Name sound familiar to you?
Astorius.
Uh, so
I could roll
make
what?
me a history check.
Look at that.
I mean, I know that it's supposed to be an ancient magical artifact dating back at least several thousand years, made of kyber.
So it's the name of a relic?
Yeah, quite an old one, apparently.
Thousands of years even for our current time?
Oh yeah, like I guess in either time frame it would have been many thousands of years old, like way pre-Galifar. Some say, poets, not necessarily historians, that it could date back all the way to the time of the two dragons, Eberron and Kyber, fighting over the death of their sibling.
See.
Some poets say it's one of the claws of Kyber himself. Some say it's one of the claws of Eberron, broken off during the clash between the two dragons.
I see. And that's it. Nobody's seen. They just suspect this relic exists.
I mean, it's clear there was some relic of some sort. There are reports of people having seen it. What it does or what its significance is, that's more the realm of poets. At least there's not much more information that survived up into our time.
I'll just like look over to Professor Bareth. Well, how about that? Jog anything of your memory?
I need to consider it further. I know I've heard it before,
Shepherd
but if
Hermes.
I think of anything, I will. Yeah, so you know that future Shepherd Hermes didn't know much about it. Um, he knew maybe a little bit more than Mully came up with, but not that much more.
He, one of the things he said to me is that he believed that there was some way to some ritual that could tie one to the progenitor dragons and form a bond, a closer bond. And that would resonate with Hysterius Angus and unlock some aspect of its power. But what those rituals are, I do not know. They've been long lost as far as I know. But perhaps in your archives there will be some clues.
Let me think on it. Come back tomorrow morning and I will give you access to the library. If
Very,
I think of anything in the meantime, I can tell you then.
very well. Thank you, Professor.
Sounds good. I guess we can get out of your hair.
So you leave his office. Is there anything particular you need to do before the evening when you go back to the King of Fire?
No, we're still waiting on my armor, right? So,
Yeah, that'll still be another 6 days. I mean, you could go watch them work on it. Hammer faster.
uh, I'd be there to be helpful. I'd like bring them water so they can have drinks, you know? Actually, hold on. Let me check my proficiencies. Uh, yeah, no tool proficiencies as a fighter. So,
So that night you return back to the King of Fire and make your way upstairs. You see the Yuan Ti reptilian woman standing in front of the door that you went through last time. You can tell me if you're taking any additional precautions because of the possibility of thieves. As Tick did say, there's a lot of pickpockets in this place.
Well, we have these letters of credit. I don't think I'm going to be walking around with that there.
right. Store that in our room, lock at the door.
Well, I mean,
I mean, the other good thing with a letter of credit is it's not as obvious where you're hiding it
right.
as a purse. Like you could have it under clothes where it can't be easily stolen unless somebody loots your body.
Right. Yeah. I'd just have like a small purse that's being kept in under my my armor. It's only got a handful of coins in it.
Right, like you could even store it under your armor, although then there's like sweat damage.
It's just as effective as whiplash.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't really have any extra precautions that I can do. I would just approach her.
So you approach this woman, and she looks at you and then steps aside and ushers you through the door. Inside the room, which is otherwise unchanged, you don't see the man you're looking for. There is an older, plain looking elven woman who is seated off to one side in like a different corner of the room than he was in. But other than her, she seems to be doing some sewing, working on a shirt that appears to need patching up.
Was this woman here before? Was this somebody we recognize?
No, you've never seen this woman before. But she looks up when you come in and continues sewing and then motions for you to come over and sit.
Um, yeah, I just go up and introduce myself. Hello, ma'am. Name's Thaldrin. What's your name?
I'm Sabius Vereen, of course. Have a seat. We have much to discuss.
Let's look back to the group. We've been hoodwinked.
Was Elzen kind of just following you guys
Yes.
before? This was not what Sabius Vereen looked like, right?
No, he was like a middle-aged human dude, like looked like a laborer, if more
I
than
mean,
anything
I
else.
think you described him as the most bland looking person.
Right.
Yes. Slightly ugly, but in a very unremarkable sort of way.
Ah,
And in thinking about that, you notice this woman, like elves usually have a reputation, this woman also exceptionally bland. Her face would be pretty hard to pick out of a lineup unless you were just like looking for the plainest looking elf.
are you a changeling then?
We don't talk about such things. It's impolite to ask a woman what her species is.
Yeah, Els, come on now.
Elzen just like throws his hands up. Very well.
So, you would like information on how to gain access to Heloise Truun's apartment. The good news is I've been able to find out quite a bit in the past day about her, or at least about her security arrangements. The bad news is I don't think it's going to be as easy as you're hoping it will.
It
She's a
never
woman
is.
of some means, and she seems to have expended some of her wealth on maintaining her privacy. So let's talk about her schedule first. She has a busy social calendar that provides a number of opportunities for you. In particular, right now, she's scheduled to be at a gala tonight that I expect will take her out of her apartment for at least 6 hours, maybe more, maybe a little bit less. But as the gala starts at 8 p.m., I would expect her to arrive there by 9 or 10 p.m. So between 10 and midnight and possibly later, you should have a good opportunity to be in her apartment without her. But as I said, there are other issues. The Oak Towers apartments in the upper plateau is well guarded. The main entrance has an arcane detector that all of the people entering must pass through. You will be asked what your business there is unless you're a resident and recognized by the concierge of the building. She will use her arcane detector to see through disguises, shape changing, illusions. He or she will use it to verify your identities using detect thoughts. If she can't read you, she won't let you pass. If she thinks you're disguised, she won't let you pass. Now, you could claim to be workers, but again, if she's reading your mind, she might see that you're not. And I don't even know what other things this detector might do. For all I know, it can at least log visual images of you for later reference in case something goes wrong.
Hmm.
There is a workman's entrance, but the workmen all are fairly well known to the concierge as well. I'm not sure if you'd be able to deceive your way in that through that method, but possibly. You would need to decide what it was you were working on, I suppose, and why that requires you to go all the way up to the penthouse, which is where she lives. The elevators, there's a magical lift that is also warded in some shape or form and can prevent you from getting off on a floor unless you have an access code. Apparently, it is a sort of magical trinket that all of the residents get that is keyed to their particular floor. There's a stairwell that, so far as I know, is unguarded, but so far as I know, is not great assurance. There are security guards often stationed in the lobby outside the stairwell and the magical lift. Private security, usually hired by the individual apartment owners. So I would imagine she probably has someone, if not her, one of her neighbors, who might see you coming up the stairs. She definitely has at least three private security guards. Whether they're in her apartment or one of them is stationed outside it, I don't know. There's a balcony, but the balcony is ensorcelled to ensure that you can't simply fly up there. There's a chance that if you can't overpower the magic, you'll be wing bound and you'll descend to the ground below before you can reach the balcony.
Hmm.
Lots of things to consider.
Now, I suppose the access point, the lattice in the lobby, there must be a way to tinker with it and mess with it. You'd have to be fairly stealthy to do it without being observed. Or you might be able to somehow deceive the concierge, convince the concierge there's a problem with their device. These things do break down from time to time. But I wouldn't necessarily expect that to be easy since it's the concierge's job to be suspicious.
Thought it was their job to be
Nobody,
helpful.
no one ever got fired for not letting a thief into the building, but for letting a thief into the building, yes, many people get fired for that.
So options are deceive the guard or the concierge.
So there could be several people you have to deceive. There's a risk of trying to fly up there, which Lee could do, but I don't know about the rest of you. It's pretty high up. Like I said, it's the penthouse of this particular building. So, but apparently, like the only obvious place you could land, there must be windows, and uh, Vereen didn't mention whether or not like all of the windows are potentially enspelled and protected in this manner. But you have to imagine that if they're protecting the balcony, they're probably protecting other things too. Um, so the problem is, so like Earthbind, which is the spell that would be triggered if you try to fly onto the balcony, wouldn't kill you, but it would reduce your fly speed to zero and slowly lower you back down to the ground below. And given that this is Eberron, you can imagine if that goes off, and Vareen will certainly add that if you somehow trigger a magical ward, there is a decent chance that, like an alarm spell will go off that will alert someone. Maybe Heloise Truun, more likely her security.
Um, would climbing up there trigger?
Not so far as I know, but that's a heck of a climb.
What if we can fly part way or
Yes.
to a nearby building or something? I don't know how the layout is of
Well,
this place. So actually, so I,
there
I
are,
don't know.
right. So it is a separate tower all its own. There are no like bridges. There are no obvious buildings that you could like rappel over from. It is one of the taller of the buildings. Um, you probably could try to fly up part of the way, but from the ground, from like the lowest level to the penthouse, that's a climb of about 160 feet. And it's not necessarily designed to be climbed. So,
Right.
and you'd have to do it also without, being observed. And there's a lot of floors of apartments, like 16 levels of apartments between you and the penthouse of people who might notice somebody climbing outside their window.
I think we have options
You
of
know,
getting in.
you right, you can think about it like, there's it's one thing to take the elevator up. It's another thing to try to make your way, get if you can get inside the building to climb up the elevator shaft, which might bypass whatever wards are on the lift itself. Small risk of the lift then crashing into you if it moves. And with 16 floors, so of the 16 floors in this building, there are, approximately 60 residents, 60 different apartments in the building that have people living in them. So a little more than 60 residents because it's not one person per apartment. So the lift could move a lot, but the lift, it is not designed to kill anybody in the elevator shaft in case there are workmen there. So there are recesses, but also risks if you're climbing up the elevator shaft. There is the gambit of trying to, pretend that you're there to do some work while she is out, since that is when most people want work done on their apartment.
Yeah. I mean, we only need to have, I don't know, because we can escort Elzen in. Just like I'll look back to uh Vereen. Uh, any other details we should know about?
None that seem relevant to me. She lives a very opulent lifestyle, from what I can tell. She has a number of servants who probably also are there. Some of them live on site. If you go late enough, I would imagine they would be asleep, but you never know. She has a personal artificer who lives with her, who helps her with her magical appliances, probably helps her setting up the wards
Here's
and
another question.
maintaining them.
So we know she's gone tonight. Is there any other time this week?
Yes, her schedule, like any wealthy person, is subject to change. So, as we discussed last time, there's always the possibility that the longer you wait, the more likely her schedule will be to change. But I know that she also has a dinner 2 nights from now that she'll have to be at. That would be somewhat earlier. She'd have to be there around 5 or 6 p.m., and it probably wouldn't last as long. but you can budget in a good hour before she returns. So figure with the to and fro, she'd be out of the her apartment for 2 hours. Her staff would be more likely to be still active at that point, although if a number of them are kitchen staff, and I don't necessarily know what their specialties are, they may be out too, as they won't be needed. She doesn't seem to be throwing any parties in the near future, but I am told by my informants that she occasionally does have dinner parties, and so sometimes as many as 15 people will go to her apartment. She apparently has something of a small ballroom in her penthouse, so there can be dancing and music there. She has an arboretum of sorts, a glass-topped structure filled with plants, of course.
How how do we
Hmm.
She
get
has
there?
a guest apartment. That would require you to go to the top of the building.
Hmm.
I
It's a
mean,
part of her penthouse.
does the
Do you think
shop?
that part is warded? Surely.
It is attached to the balcony, so I assume that it is.
I see.
I
The
mean,
ballroom is also attached to the balcony. The servants' quarters are internal to the building, probably windowless as a result.
Aren't we having this conversation in the evening?
Yes, this
Yeah.
is that the night after you talk to Bareth for the second time.
What time is it then?
So it is like 5, 6 o'clock. I assumed you didn't necessarily wait. So you would have a couple of hours to like go.
hmm.
This is one of those
If
few times where I think we could use the distraction that is known as Pebble.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's the thing. What? All right, I think we have all we need here. We should discuss this privately. Our plan, so as not to implicate you. Looking over to Vereen. But less you
I
know,
think
right?
that I think that is very sensible. If you need me to look out further into our social calendar, you can let me know.
Perhaps just keeping up to date. Maybe we can stop by every once in a while. If need arises, maybe we'll be fine.
Thank you,
Very
Truun.
well.
Yeah. So let's head back, I guess, perhaps to Watchman's Rest.
Yeah.
So you head back to the Watchman's Rest.
Or I guess one more. Hey, one more question before we go. What if something is tossed onto the balcony? Do you think that would trigger anything? Surely things fall and land on them.
I'm sure something could fall and land on the balcony.
Okay, thank you. Then we can head back. Sorry.
No problem.
All right, so we just toss Elzen onto the balcony, or at least his amulet.
I mean,
You'd be in there alone, but
Don't we have a potion of climbing? Have in my notes potion climbing.
That would
yes, I have one. I have a potion of climbing
Okay.
and the magical face painting kit still.
Well, going through the front door be, obviously a problem because if this person, whoever the concierge is, if they're able to have an arcane detector and detect thoughts and all this stuff, then they're seeing our faces, and I don't think we're going to be able to BS our way in that way.
Yeah, you'd have to think quick. That's for sure.
Right.
Oh,
I don't know like what skills all you guys have, but like he was saying, you could probably try to quickly disable whatever detectors there are in the lobby of this building. So that at least it's not like recording your entrance. You That would take like a thieves tool check. I don't know if any of you are proficient in thieves tools.
Does this does this balcony? Man, I suppose I should ask her this too. Does the balcony prevent birds from landing?
Oh yes. Anything that tries to fly into the balcony will be affected by the magic and lowered to the ground. It wouldn't be fatal. You'd fall very much like a feather token.
Interesting. How generous of them. Okay.
I mean, we could always just also see if we can find the scroll of dispel magic.
Right, that could probably disable the device.
and
At least,
maybe go ahead.
no, go ahead. At least temporarily disable the device.
And maybe one of silence too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am sure that they would be expensive, um, because there are many such reasons to want to obtain such a scroll, but it is an option.
It's kind of fun. Yeah. Surely somebody sells spell scrolls.
Oh, absolutely. You could find a seller of spell scrolls.
Let's go have a look around. We got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Or grab your money.
Oh, I guess there's one other thing. You should know that her butler, Laska Vordiax, is well regarded for his ability to read people and apparently greets almost everyone entering the apartment. Subtle and sly is how he's been described to me, and able to see through most people's pretenses, which I suppose makes him a very good servant for Truun. She also has a Deneth bodyguard amongst her three security personnel. Varkun Avedon, also well regarded, possibly somewhat smitten with her, as I understand it, so therefore fiercely loyal. And then her artificer and other servants and guards. I don't believe she has any guests staying with her, though it seems as though she has accommodations for guests.
I don't suppose you could turn invisible, Elson.
I could not, unfortunately.
Get one of those scrolls too.
You might be able to get one of those scrolls.
I was thinking of a potion of gaseous form.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting. Yeah, how does it work on that? Is it just no? You become potion of fog form, I guess.
Well, I mean, once you get in, maybe, to move into one of the rooms or something.
No, yeah,
But I
that's
don't
true.
know if you can go back and forth in that form. I don't know how that works.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know about gaseous form. It's not quite the same as Windwalk.
hmm,
We got spoiled by that spell.
well, hmm.
Let's go have a look around, see what kind of scrolls we can get.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, this being Eberron, um, you can find most mundane spell scrolls, like things up to third level, from among the sort of like standard spells that are available, or potions for that matter, that mimic the effects of these spells. Um, and potions might be a little bit easier given that you're not all spellcasters. They can
Right.
sometimes be expensive, uh, but they definitely exist. Once you get like above third level, things become more rare, and once you get above fifth level, they become very hard to find. Even in Sharn, that's like a very niche specialty category of object.
Real question is how expensive are they? I mean, we got also have that sapphire still that's worth around 2K. We probably won't be able to sell it for quite that much, but and then our lines of credit or whatever.
I would, I'd be fine with using some of the credit to help with this endeavor, but it seemed I'd want to be somewhat prudent and not spend all of it.
Of course.
That would be taking advantage of our host's hospitality. And that is not a thing that one does to their host.
Well, some people do, but I get it. I,
In
what's
that,
our main thing? What's our main thing? Dispel ability to dispel something. Probably the balcony, I would assume, is what our goal would be.
yes,
And I think maybe some invisibility if possible. So that's probably the most expensive part of the whole endeavor.
it's, we could we could also do climbing. So I have a potion of climbing, but we could also do, maybe a scroll of spider walk or something that would make it easier to scale the building as another option.
Still might try and dispel it when we get close to it, but
Yes. I suppose there's likely the alarm aspect of the spell
yeah,
that even if we did not fly, but walked onto it, that we would set it up.
possibly. It's difficult. I mean, people they have to be able to walk onto it when from the inside.
Right.
I would assume it's the space above the balcony that's been enchanted.
Hmm.
I
That
mean,
are
she
they're
she does
spying
have
on
her.
their patrons by every time they come out into the balcony, right? So if they have some sort of method of telling whenever somebody's on the balcony, they always know.
Well, so the alarm spell can be set with very specific
Oh, that's
conditions.
true. That's true. That's true.
So it really could be like if somebody doesn't walk through this door and comes onto the balcony, that triggers the alarm. Uh, but like Vereen said, she has her own artificers, so she could have numerous enchantments around this place.
Mm.
Another option And it is something that I think only I or that I could do. Maybe we could make it work. Is to uh, be a guest chef. I can be yeah, I can be the chef and you can be my sous chefs and we
And
can
we'd all
prepare.
have to sell this to their lie detectors.
Yes. I mean that would be the hard part. So
Pretty damn hard. I don't know how to cook.
if there's some sort of magic that could could break it, or we could disable the lie detector if there's a way to disable them momentarily.
Well, to try to get invited to one of her dinner parties, which might be a little bit harder.
Right. I mean, you could go and take a look at this building yourself and see what else you can think of,
Right.
since you're not going tonight, especially.
Yes. I mean, there's also the kind of the obvious option, which is
Murder her.
just the second obvious option, which is just talk to her. We could form a connection and
Yeah,
an
yeah.
invitation.
Go to the gate. We could
I,
see where the gala is and show up there.
yeah, now would be the time to do it when Pebble is out sick.
Oh, yes.
Now we actually have the that is a viable plan.
Yeah, we could just try to find out where this gala is or hang her either that or hang around the building when she shows back up.
Right. With her retinue of people, I'm sure.
Right. Maybe try to get her attention and say, "Oh, I don't pose as
Pretend to be
something outside the building because inside the building, if we have to deal with whoever, but
with
outside the
I
building, she
mean,
probably doesn't have detect thoughts or detect. She probably doesn't. Well, everybody's got detect bullshit, but she may not have any kind of magical thing. And we could obviously entice her by saying we have information from Black Pit. I'm sure she would stop and want to talk to us, but I don't know if we want to lead with that.
right.
I
I it could be, I mean, I was considering that as an option, but I don't know if what, yeah, we don't know exactly what all she knows, which has been communicated to her.
Correct.
There are methods of magical communication that are more instantaneous.
one
Um,
one thing is there is this time sensitive? Like, do we have to intercept her tonight or tomorrow? And I mean, I know Thaldarin's waiting for a week for his armor, but is there any other pressing matter besides that?
The
well,
the only the only time sensitivity that Vareen talked about, which was more last time, is that the information he has on her schedule can go bad because people change their plans.
Yeah. Yeah. The longer it goes, the worse, more unreliable the information.
The
And he also would have shared her apartment is pretty big. It's like 10,000 square feet. So
And there's
you
60
should,
of them.
right. Well, I mean, hers is one of three penthouse apartments,
Okay.
so it could be bigger than the others.
and
But this is a luxury apartment building
she goes down
for,
south during the wintertime.
well, this is kind of down south.
I mean, on a whole other continent, but yeah.
So, and
Um,
you can imagine that if she has like three sort of permanent guards hanging around her apartment, she must travel with bodyguards, especially if she's like a celebrity in town, like she's been described.
I don't know.
So if you intercept her on her way back, she'll probably have, at least another three or something bodyguards.
One
Maybe.
thing we should consider too, factor into our plans, and the reason I mention is that we do not yet have our identities, our papers planted yet. Um, and if we were to draw attention and we were to be investigated, we wouldn't have we
Yeah.
we would
Currently, we don't exist.
yes, but that would also be uh it would become suspicious if they investigated, found nothing, and then found a bunch of stuff. Don't you think?
I mean, it would take them time to investigate anything. They'd have to get our names. Besides, according to our backstory, we just arrived here. Not that long ago, at least. So I wouldn't be surprised if she shouldn't be surprised by not finding something right away. I wouldn't think. We don't, again, we could be whoever we want right now.
This is true.
We could. This may be the one and only time we ever talk to this lady. In which case, we could take a. Do I have that guy's name? I don't think I do. Take a page out of our reporter friend's book and just show up asking questions.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like when she shows up from the gala tonight to the penthouse, we could act like reporters or whatever and just spark questions at her. And another thought was maybe we can go find a scroll of detect thoughts, and one of us has that going and see what her thoughts are right on the surface. She may reveal something right there.
Indeed.
That is a great idea. Let's do that. I I before working on an elaborate plan to break into an apartment and deal with security, we may be able to get, more information just
Right.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
exactly.
Well,
Plus, as you point out, Pengel is not feeling well, and that's probably fortuitous for this particular case.
I like that kid. Doesn't know how to lie. Not a clue.
But he sure can talk.
We gotta come up with a way to contain that kid.
Easier said than done.
It's so far been impossible.
Oh yeah, it was my other character that had a locket of detect thoughts. Like, so yeah, I guess then we're still gonna go look for scrolls, but maybe look for a scroll to detect thoughts.
So right now you're
Definitely.
headed back to the Watchman's Rest.
Almost as easier to get some scrolls somewhere along the way.
yeah.
Um, so it being like nighttime, most of the shops would have shut down,
Mm,
Hmm.
and you don't necessarily know where the particular shops are. That is also spell scrolls are a little bit beyond what you would find in the neighborhoods you're in. That is, more of an upper city thing since there's
here.
less crime up there.
Hmm.
Though you're free to look tonight.
Free to look tonight.
Yeah, you're free to look for somebody selling magical items.
I would do that. I mean, see if we can gather some information, and even if it's closed, I don't intend to break in, but knock on the door. They could be staying there. They just may have the light out, be closed, but they could be in the shop. I mean, who's going
Oh,
to turn down a opportunity to make a sale, right?
I did not mean to cast that.
So give me a an intelligence check, everyone, to see what you can find out.
Good Lord. Straight intelligence roll. Okay, good. Somebody, all right, now give me my crap. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh.
Nice.
We're on it.
So after asking around, you eventually narrow down first the fact that almost all the reputable spell scroll dealers are in the upper level of the city. Um, there are a few who are in the bazaar on, in the middle Dura, where close to where you are. They're not necessarily like high end, like the places up there, but their prices are more reasonable, and they might still be open. To get to the upper level probably would take more time than the shops would be open for. So headed to the bazaar, you do see there is one shop, the magical curio shop, that appears to have a bunch of, you would say, probably common magic items in the window. You can see there are three armored men standing inside, as well as one person in robes who just appear to be kind of watching as you come through the door. And a somewhat wizened gnome behind a counter hops up on a stool so that you could see his face from behind it and says, "Ah, welcome. We're just about to close up for the evening. Is there something I can help you with?"
Yes, we are interested in seeing your inventory of spell scrolls.
My entire inventory of spell scrolls?
Well, we're looking for detect thoughts.
Let me see what I have. And he hops down off his stool, and you hear a door open, but you don't see one open. He, however, has completely disappeared behind his counter.
And he has a guard.
He has four guards, a
Oh,
spellcaster,
But
and three others.
they seem to be part of the shop, like they're not,
Yeah,
or they,
they
okay.
they they look like they work here.
Okay. Okay. Serious business. Damn.
And you hear the door open. Still don't
I
see a
just like
door.
I just imagine like there's like that awkward like sort of like nod to the guard or whatever as they're sort of watching you. Just a
Just
friendly, yeah, I'm cool,
Hey,
man.
dude, what's up? No, we're
Yeah, and as you walk up to the counter, you see there is just a small, like 3 foot high door behind the counter that he emerges from and jumps back up on a stool and says, "Good news. I have one such scroll left. A little worse for wear," and he holds up like a tattered spell scroll, "but still perfectly functional. This would be 800 Galifar."
jeez.
Elzen
Oof.
crinkles his eyebrows, trying to run the math of like how much this is, how much is this like way overpriced?
Um, I don't think you would know. Like prices are so different when you're from.
Yeah, that's
Who's
a good
to
point.
say? It would be more in Shoshar than he's asking for. But is this normal for Sharn, or is he trying to make a profit, or what's going on?
Hmm.
I don't know how much money you were willing to part with.
I the Bank of Elsen is
Hmm.
not that deep. We'd have to reach into our funds.
You see, he like tightens up the spiral on the scroll and tucks it down underneath the counter. Well, if that's too pricey for you, I can understand.
Hmm.
Anything else I can help you with? Because, like I said, we're about to close up shop.
Ah, but I was hoping to take a in-depth look at all your wares.
I don't think
Well,
he's going to do that, man.
you're free to look around. I can stay open a little bit later. Usually helps for most of my stock is not out on the floor. So usually people tell me what they're interested in. You don't get a lot of browsers for these sorts of items because they're so expensive.
Hmm. I suppose that is true.
Leastwise, not down here in the Middle Dura. Maybe up in the fancy pants upper door, the Skyway people can browse for things that cost hundreds of gold.
Elzen would gesture over to Lee and Thaldarin and say, kind of close whispers or in a close whisper.
We have the ability to message each other,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's true. He would not do that. He would just message, I have 300 gold that I could put towards this. I have 376 total.
That
So,
still does require that you whisper, but
Yeah. But you don't have to like pull us in close for it. You can kind of like go off into a corner, right?
yeah,
Um,
while browsing.
I still like to imagine the gnome like reaches under the thing and like takes out a giant ear horn. What's that? Speak up.
um, I mean, we might be able to trade it and some coin back if we want to give up one of the lines of credit. We could also try and talk him down
Yeah,
some as
we
well.
haven't negotiated with him.
Well, how much would you be able to pitch in without tapping into a line of credit?
I have 83 gold. Galifar. Well, I have a lot of silver, so if you converted that, that would be I basically 120 I would max. The question is, how much does Pebble have? That's the
Pebble, even Pebble doesn't know.
that's right.
He has no concept.
So Pebble gave like the sack of
Oh, that's right.
75 dragons went to Thaldarin, 25 of which went to pay for his armor.
Right.
So there's 50 dragons left there. Pebble also still has that eggplant-sized gemstone that's worth 2,000, but selling that to somebody is going to basically get you half of the value of that. So that's 1,000. And you don't know whether or not like this particular guy probably can't appraise the value of the gemstone. You'd have to take that to a jeweler. The
That's a
letter of
lot.
credit, the letter of credit, though, that he would at least know the value of.
Right.
He might doubt whether or not it's a forgery, but
Well, the question is the 800 going to get us something worth it? I mean, it's a huge gamble because she could get nothing out of it. We'd just be burning 800 gallon for
Yeah, we need to like detect magic or something so you can make sure that that scroll is right.
Well, beyond that, like, you
it.
know,
Well, I can do that. I can do detect magic.
assuming that the scroll checks out, would excuse me, would being able to detect thoughts be potentially worth 800?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It may not be.
I mean,
right. You don't necessarily know what personal words she has up either.
Yeah. I say at the very least we should head over to where this place is and wait for her to show up so we at least know what she looks like. We have no idea what she looks like. We have no vibe or anything of who this person is.
it's true. That's fair. Get eyes on her.
And if she is super popular or, has then we're just there to get her autograph or whatever. If anybody asks, we're just real big fans. Or we could be reporters or whatever.
I mean, we could do both. We don't have to be together.
Right.
Getting an autograph might not be a terrible idea, especially if we know somebody who's good at forging things.
Um, he just has magic items in here, right?
Um, I mean, as far as you know, it's the shop is supposed to be magical curios. It's hard to imagine everything in here is magical. Some of it might just be mechanical stuff, but like you could see what looks like music boxes and other little things gnomes might sell. A lot of it does appear to be common magic items, not necessarily all of which need to be magical. Like a sword cane could actually just be a sword cane. Uh, but like you do definitely see one of the things in the window is a self-sweeping broom that is just constantly sweeping the same spot over and over again. You see there's a cleansing stone in the corner.
Well, wait, we could be there to sell her this self-sweeping broom. We just walk in like the regular salesmen do to try to get into your house every time. We'll just do that.
Like any gated community, they let the door-to-door salesman right through.
All right. So that's three
We
things.
pose we
Who
pose
wants
as
to be?
elementary school children selling candy bars.
Yes, yes.
That's Pebbles. That's Pebbles' thing. So that's what
Yeah.
Pebble will do. One of us gets to be the reporter. The other one gets to be
So,
the salesman.
I am sure Pebble will keep the story straight.
Yep. No,
just
see,
tell
Pebble's not
Pebble
here, so
that,
Pebble doesn't know nothing. We're just gonna tell
yeah,
Pebble,
you're not even
hey,
lying.
yeah,
Just tell Pebble there's a new friend you need to make
That's
right
true.
there.
There is your way
And
through the detect thoughts
yep.
at
Oh,
the entrance.
yeah.
Just tell Pebble you
We
are there
just
to sell candy bars.
we absolutely, yeah. If
Here's
we need to go through the
here's a
front door, we're definitely going to bring Pebble because we're going to be like, all right, dude, detect thoughts on this MF, or hi, good luck with that. How you
that's
like
how
that,
we'll
huh?
disable the device.
He'll be like, no, ah.
just static.
Yeah. The whole device will start to smoke as it tries to detect Pebble's thoughts.
I can't do
Elson would say telepathically, it does not detect thoughts, but I can form a telepathic bond and communicate with a person of my choice. So I
it.
could
Oh,
I could speak to her, you know, from the crowd, and she could respond as, a way to ensure we get communication.
It doesn't necessarily mean she will, but
No, but she would hear us, and we could use that either to gather information or to leave an impression. Anyway,
I would hate to be a celebrity in a magical world where sending exists.
Well,
I'm just gonna tweet you, and you can't turn it off.
And you cannot turn. It's going straight into your head. And you can respond.
so the good news is that these spells are not necessarily cheap. They're easy to get if you have the cash for them. So the
Yeah.
average person can't just keep sending stuff to her.
I know. Yeah. But imagine like a fan club who just decides to become just good enough wizards to be able to cast that spell.
They multi-class.
Like you can like imagine the privacy concerns when people can just scry.
Mm.
I know, right?
Okay. So if we're gonna go there, do we want to be disguised? Do we want to like, you know, wear big overcoats?
Well, if Pebble and Elson could wear a trench coat.
It's
Together.
like trench coat and a hat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you'd be still be like 7 feet tall because Pebble's 4 feet.
I do have a set of fine clothes that I brought with me, so I could wear those.
I'm a completely different Aarakocra.
That's right.
No, I think Elson would use his magical face painting kit um to cast disguise self. Um to hide, you know, to change his appearance. But
Um,
I guess
the-
we were in that guy's shop. I was like,
yeah,
um, it's a group thing. We got to make sure it's all copacetic. Right now, we're not ready, but we will remember you and we will be back. And we appreciate you staying open for us. Let's get out of here.
So you leave. Are you making your way to Truun's apartment building?
I think
I
that's
am
the
going
idea, right?
to pick up one of those Inquirer papers or whatever they were, the Inquisitor or
the expositor.
the
Yeah.
Expo. Is that what it was?
The
I'm going to
The
sharp
pick up
ex
one of
the
the.
ex the expositor is the bit of the rag. Although
Right, absolutely, yeah.
you notice that Professor Bareth had one. So you are still looking at today's edition that
Uh-oh.
still has the news story about the trust brainwashing someone's husband.
Um,
So that's like 5 crowns, 5 copper.
okay. Yeah.
And
For
you see,
quality.
there is also a story in there about a woman giving birth to a half bat baby,
Right. Yeah.
possibly spawned by a lycanthrope. Are lycanthropes growing to be a problem in Sean? We are just asking the question.
Are there, I don't know, Eberron, so what do they use to write with? Are there pens or pencils or
So, I mean, there are traditional quills and ink for the pores. There are magical quills that have a steady supply of ink that are built in.
Hmm,
Those are pretty common, so they would cost like 50 gold.
okay, not that important.
I mean, I wouldn't say so. Quill is the wrong word. They're advanced enough that they have like styluses, but
Okay.
they still require like an inkwell to draw the ink up.
Okay. All right, yeah, grab my paper, and we'll head in that direction.
So you head off. It takes, are you walking? Are you taking a sky coach or what?
Do we think we'll make it if we walk?
So you still have several, assuming she's like getting out of her gala, given the time frame you were told, you wouldn't have
Midnight
expected her to get, no, but even after that, like probably like
after.
2 in the morning.
Right. Okay.
Like midnight was when Vereen was sort of suggesting you get out of there because it's safe. Safe
Gotcha. Okay.
that she would not be home by then.
Hmm.
Um, so it'd probably be later. You could definitely make it to Upper North Edge before then.
Okay.
Just a bit of a hike.
Yeah.
So, but you make your way around, going up to the Upper Dora. You make your way around to the North Edge district. You come across her building, the Oak Towers. At this point, Elzin, you realize you've been to this building before. Like you didn't know there was anything significant about it at the time. In fact, you've been to the penthouse before, at least to the top level. So what maybe used to be the penthouse. It is a green, well, it is a white marble building with green veins running through the marble. Incredibly spectacular. It is, from what you could see, about 200 feet tall. The apartments themselves, the individual levels appear to be maybe 15 or 20 feet per floor. So, pretty extensive. It's clearly a very fancy building. You can see there are many windows externally. Not every floor seems to have balconies from what you can see. Many of them do. And it probably would occur to you that you don't know, unless the building itself is magically putting the same words on every balcony and window, that uh, it could be up to the individual tenants to protect themselves. You don't know what the security arrangement is or who's actually doing that. But the balconies appear to be mostly on the upper floors, and it just seems to be windows on the relatively low floors, like the first 40 or so floors. But it is a very tall and impressive looking building.
When Allison was in the penthouse, presumably that was in the future, does he remember what it became?
Yes, it had become, because space is at a premium and they have to pack people in Shosharn. What you don't know if you were like in her particular apartment. There's three apartments on the top level, according to Vereen. But it had been partitioned off into smaller units. And you remember specifically that one of those units was given to Pebble's extended family in the future in this building. And that was when you visited it, when you were visiting Pebble's family.
Okay.
But you realize as seeing it that there could be other points of egress into the building than you were thinking about. Vereen was only talking about how do you get in the front door, how do you get in the back door, and how do you get directly into the apartment. But there are a lot of apartments, and they may not all be as heavily guarded, as probably few of the residents are as wealthy as she is, living in the largest, topmost apartment in the building. You also see outside the front, there is like a throng of people, like a lot of people just milling about. There's also an area that's been like cordoned off and is being kept empty of people leading up to the entrance of the building.
What time?
It is approaching 2 a.m.
Okay.
And approximately, so some of the people outside the building are security. A lot of the people who are sort of behind the ropes on either side of this walkway up to the main entrance, there are maybe like 30 people hanging out here,
What time is it?
close to 2 a.m.
And there is people out, there are
Yes.
people out here. Okay. Oh,
It,
wow. All right.
they said they're milling about. Does it look like they're like milling about like they're
Oh,
waiting for something?
they're clearly waiting. Some
Okay.
of them seem super excited. Some of them are holding like sketches of some woman. You don't know. You
Okay.
assume it's Heloise Truun. You don't know if the sketches are accurate. They don't appear to be super detailed. They're just pen and ink sketches run off on a printing press.
Well,
Hmm.
so what is our plan? I can speak directly to her if there are words that are would be helpful to say or a way to catch her attention.
I'm sure we could get her attention if we wanted to.
Why don't we? I mean, who wants to be the reporter?
Lee holds up the paper. Well, of course, I will be.
Perfect.
This is Lee Eric from the the Sharn Expositor.
That's well, I don't know if we can necessarily say that, right? Because we have a backstory being developed for Lee, so he should probably be a different person, different name, pick a different name.
Deep throat.
Got it.
It's just, I was just thinking of the in one of the Avatar episodes. It's like you should have been named Lee. There's like a million Lees. Just pick a different last name.
Um, yeah, I mean, you could probably get her attention by saying, is the rumor true? And then say some
Right.
things that perhaps she
Right.
might know. Some things about Black Pit, perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You wanna you wanna disarm? I mean, to hold on to your weapons? How do we work that out?
The people you see here, other than like the security, they are not armed.
Yeah, yeah. I won't approach. I'll just stay. I'll stand back across the
Um,
street or something. I don't know.
I will I mean, I've got my fine clothes. I had my fine set of clothes in my backpack, so take them out, put them on,
For sure.
walk over there, and just the first person, like somebody with a sketch or something. Did you draw that?
What? No, I could never draw this. It is a good likeness of her, I think. I've always seen her from a like distance. This would be my first time seeing her like really up close.
How do you know she's going to be here and she's not inside already? Like, how do you know this already?
Well, at least the rumor is that she's
Oh,
out right
okay.
now because there's a big gala up on the Skyway. And so obviously if you're going to have a big party, you want to have somebody important like her there.
That makes
So
sense.
I'm hoping that once that lets out, and I don't know when that'll be, she'll come here.
Now, did you show up by yourself or is there a group of you? Is there, you have like a club or something or?
Well, we don't have a club. I'm here by myself right now. Had a friend come out, but he had been here the prior 2 nights and she never showed up. So he
Oh
got
man.
discouraged and went home. I decided just to stick it out a couple more hours.
Well, that's what true fans do.
So how long have you been a fan?
Oh, just recently, just trying to look into this. I'm with the Sharn Expositor.
Really? The Sharn Expositor?
Yeah.
Don't recall them ever having a story about her, but I'm glad she's
Well,
getting more press.
hmm.
You're not going to claim that she's like a vampire or
No, no,
some some sort of monster.
no, but she's not, right?
No,
I mean,
of
I've heard
course.
rumors.
You basically just told this guy you're from the Weekly World News.
Right. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know exactly what I
so,
told him.
or like, she has a 600-pound cousin that she's
Yeah,
hiding in her apartment.
right.
So it is true.
I don't know. She hasn't given any interviews to the press, at least not that I'm aware of.
Well, I mean, there's always a first, right?
That's true. I mean, I can't even imagine how many copies you'd sell if you got an interview with the Heloise Truun.
Yeah. So where did you get this artwork if you didn't do it? You buy it?
Oh yeah, they sell a lot of these along the street. Some of them aren't that good. Like I said, I guess I've never actually seen her all that close, but I've definitely seen some crappy images of her.
What's my assessment of this picture? Is it halfway decent or is it?
I mean, whoever drew it is a decent artist. Is it accurate? You don't know.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't know that, but like, is it?
It is, somewhat cartoony. Like it's not photorealistic in any sense. But, it shows a dark-haired, large-eyed woman. And it's all in ink, so it's just, black and white sketch on parchment.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, I guess we just wait then.
Yeah, I hope she gets here soon because I have to be honest, I'm getting tired. I've been here since 6 p.m. I was hoping to catch her leaving, but I didn't see her leave. I don't know if she actually like wasn't in today or what. After about
Uh,
15 minutes, you see a sky coach comes directly down and lands in front of the cordoned off area. And you see a bunch of men get out. In fact, six armed guards get out and flank this sky coach, out of which comes uh, someone who does match the drawings reasonably well.
okay.
Um, Probably about 25 years old, dark haired and dark eyed, a very attractive woman by most people's standards. Show the picture. She is exceptionally well dressed for a party, wearing what looks to be very expensive jewelry to the extent you can judge these things. It looks to be platinum and diamonds. Could be fake. You don't necessarily know. But she gets out and starts like waving to people. She looks a little bit on the tired side. And
Mm,
as she begins to walk up this cordoned area, you can see she's next to one side of the ropes and she does take the occasional picture and with a stylus in her hand signs it and hands it back
okay.
and continues to make her way up. She, then crosses over to the other side and signs a few autographs there, making her way to the main door slowly as she greets these fans.
Okay.
But then she makes it to the front door.
Okay. Well, I was waiting. I was pausing to see if anybody else was going to do anything. But if they're not,
You're the
so I
guy.
will, huh?
You were the guy.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going to do something. I don't
No, no,
know.
no. Go ahead.
So I'm going to be behind that person with the picture because they probably have it up or some crap or whatever. I will
Right.
be like,
Everybody is sort of, so there are not that many people. And the cordon is big enough. The cordon is designed to hold like a larger crowd than what happens to be here. So everybody is able to sort of get right up against the ropes.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
not going to do that.
right. She is not necessarily signing everybody's picture. She is picking and choosing in
Oh
some
yeah.
fashion.
Yeah.
But she signed a few of them on her way past.
I'm
and
gonna
waved to
say.
people, and like she was pretty careful not to like shake hands.
Oh yeah.
But she took pictures from people to sign.
Are they yelling her name and everything? I mean,
Yes, the crowd is very excited, and they're quite loud now. One guy tries to sort of like climb over the ropes, and
oh
security
hell.
has to manhandle him back into position.
What is her name? Truun. I'm gonna say, Miss Truun, Miss Truun. Do you have anything to say to the Sharn expositor about Black Pit?
What sort of check? Make me a charisma check
Oh God.
to see if you can be heard and seen above this crowd.
You know, I didn't think of this beforehand as a player, but Elzen would have. Uh, and maybe it wouldn't affect this particular, but Elzen could cast Borrowed Knowledge on Lee.
What's his range self?
Yeah.
I guess never mind. Well, cannot cast Borrowed Knowledge on Lee.
That'd be cool then.
15.
So was Elson going to try to talk to her telepathically?
He's gonna see how this goes. He's not really sure what to say to her. Um, you know, one of your guards is planning to kill you. It could be ominous. Uh,
So that's what you're going to say?
no, I'm not sure what he's gonna say yet.
Okay, so before you do that, you yell out you're from the Shard Expositor. You could see her eyes do sort of snap over to yours as she looks past the crowd. How tall are you?
I don't think I'm very tall. 5'6".
So she has to like look through people to see you, since you're not right up against the ropes. Um, and she seems to regard you. Her eyes narrow a bit when she hears you mention Black Pit and the Shard Expositor.
Yes.
And she says something to one of her guards who peels off and goes back over to the edge of the rope line. But she keeps moving.
Okay. Okay. Well, I definitely got her attention.
You like follow her down the line and you ask her another question. You got to make this like the movies, you know?
So she doesn't say anything.
No,
Not
she
to
didn't
you.
respond to you directly.
Okay.
So as
And
she keeps moving, what is Elzin trying to say to her?
what was it that we were looking for in her apartment?
We were just gonna fucking toss the place, I think.
I feel like there
Try and
wasn't.
find her office and
You
just find whatever we can find.
Okay,
you
we're just
were
like we're just
looking for things related to Abelard and Black Pit and what she knows about Abelard's work.
Yeah.
okay. Um,
Now say next. Shit.
Yeah, you notice she's significantly younger than Abelard. Abelard's probably pushing 40, maybe a little older. Also, like scarred, he's clearly been through it. Um, like she's like a nine, and he's like a five or six,
Yeah. Well,
I
maybe a
mean,
seven on a good day, maybe.
hmm.
So yeah,
Thaldern will have like
I'll
one
just tell
one.
you as you try to contact her mind, you see there is a little flash from a ring on her finger, and her eye also immediately finds you in the crowd. Uh, are you right up against the rope line? Like where are you? Or could she get direct line of sight towards you?
I would think that no, Alzen would be trying to like he would kind of like like kind of behind, like a little bit further back. Like presumably he has to have. I think he has to have line of sight for that to work. Choose one creature you can see. So yeah, like kind of like he would be like behind legs, but he could like peek around them to see her.
So as you try to contact her mind, her ring flares, and her eye turns in your direction, and you can see like the crowd sort of moves back in, and you can't see her full reaction, but you can see she wags her finger at you back and forth. But she clearly knew the direction that the communication came from, which isn't necessarily something a normal person could do without magical help.
Right.
And about this time, Lee, you feel a hand on your shoulder,
Okay. Okay.
and you turn around and see it's the guard who peeled off from her retinue, who says, Miss Truun would like to see you inside.
Oh, well, I mean, if there's any questions, it'd probably be done out here. I don't need to be going inside. It's probably not a good idea.
You're a reporter, right? You have questions for her?
Yes, I have questions for her, but there's all these she's got all this muscle and stuff. It's kind of intimidating. I mean,
Well, suit yourself. That was your probably only opportunity. And he takes his
oh,
hand off your shoulder and turns and makes his way back and around the crowd.
okay. And before she gets to the door, or maybe this interaction, she's already gotten in.
Now she's approaching the door.
And I'll say, Miss Troon, is it true you haven't heard from Abelard since Black Pit?
So make me another charisma check to see if you can be heard. She doesn't seem to react to you this time.
Okay.
Is Thaldarin doing anything before she disappears inside?
Um, I was considering maybe swinging around to like closer to the doorway where she would, where I could see her just before she goes in. Um, my main thing is I probably didn't change, so I'm armored and have my weapon on my back. And I kind of want to just like lean on a rope maybe, or like the pole, one of the poles, as she's like getting to the door. I probably stand out perhaps because of the fucking weapon and whatever, everything.
Yeah, if you're armed and armored, before she gets up to you, like her security detail would reposition themselves to let there not be a direct path between you and her, and to
That's
keep
fine.
you out of the reach of that weapon.
I was like, hey, you're fine. But I've like I would see her and I assume again I would stick out a little bit. I would be
Yeah,
like,
they definitely would be looking for somebody with weapons, and up you come in full armor, so you would stick out.
yeah. So I just see her and I'm like, I could see why Abelard has a thing for you.
So again, make me a charisma check to see if you could be discerned over this crowd of people who are also yelling.
Alrighty.
Mm, okay.
So you can see she reacts to hearing the name. Her security detail is not letting her anywhere like near you. Like she's not like just barely 5 feet out of reach. The whole security detail is staying out of reach. Um, but you definitely see a reaction on her face before one of her security people say something to her and they usher her inside. but she looked very, not alarmed, but very surprised.
I give her a wink as she goes in, and I just walk away.
That's what I was hoping Elson was going to do that.
I'm a good looking guy. You can't tell, but I'm a good looking guy.
Okay. Uh, can we see inside the lobby? Or is it blacked out?
It's not blacked out. You can see a little ways in. It is a large marble space. You do see immediately beyond the door, there is the contraption that Vereen mentioned to you. It is a large, um, basically a large arch made of a black metal. And so even she passes through it, though you watch as the ring on her fingers flashes as she goes through it. And the man who's standing on the far side of it doesn't seem to ask her any questions. From the body language, it appears as though he is kind of obesely just kissing her ass as she comes in, bowing even somewhat as she comes up to him, and like motioning for her to go over towards the lift.
Hmm. Okay. Does the crowd disperse?
No, they're still there pretty excited. I mean, they're calming down now that she's inside. They will start to disperse pretty quickly.
Okay.
You see that the guy you were talking to runs up to you. I got her autograph. I got her autograph.
Nice.
And he
Let's see.
holds up his picture that has her signature on it.
Now that you've seen her, what? Now that we've seen her, how's the likeness? Is it any good?
Like I said, it's a little more sort of cartoonish than photorealistic, but you could recognize her. It's not a caricature.
Right. Okay.
And you could pick her out from what the picture shows.
Not a stick figure with boobs.
Right. It is higher quality than that. There's never been a bigger celebrity in this city than her, and I have her autograph now. Some people probably would just sell it, but I'm gonna keep it. If I could save up money, I'm gonna get like a frame and I'm gonna put it on my wall and I'm gonna show it to everybody.
Hey, hey, can I get you? I'll give you 5 gold for that autograph.
To this guy?
Yeah, that guy.
What? No way. I'm never giving this up. Who would sell the autograph of Heloise Truun?
Suit yourself.
Are you like one of those guys who just traffics in these things?
What does it matter to you what I am?
You might have just answered your own question.
You don't. It doesn't have to be you. Let's go up to the next person I see who got an
Yeah.
autograph. I'll give you 5 gold for that.
Yeah, he like puts his hand on Lee's shoulder and says, "Let's get away from this guy."
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I move away from him.
Isn't that
How
guy?
much
Surely somebody will give up their autograph for 5 gold.
how much would it cost to have that picture frame?
Are you asking him?
Um, I don't know if I would know that. I guess I'll ask him. How much does it cost to get it framed?
Oh, I mean, to get like a decent frame worthy of the image, it'll be, I don't know, like 3 gold, 4 gold maybe.
3 gold, 4 gold, huh? Wow. Do you got the money to do that?
No, but I could save up for it. I'll just have to keep it safe till then.
You
Or maybe
probably
buy a
just,
cheap frame and then, save up for the better one.
or get a scroll case to put it in or something.
Yeah, I could do that. But I do have I do have a book at home, so I can press it in between the leaves of the book, and that'll keep it safe.
What's what would I suspect this person's station is? Like, are they middle, lower?
You would guess this person is probably lower class. Like he looks out of place in Upper Shard from what you can see of the people here. Even among the people in this crowd, he is probably a little lower in class than most of the people here, a little less wealthy.
Let's say, man, yeah, make sure you get a good frame for that. I give him 3 Galifar.
Are you sure? I mean,
Yeah, of course.
this is wow. Thanks. I can almost surely get a frame with this much money. He shakes your hand vigorously. I gotta get home so that nothing happens to this, but thanks so
Yeah.
much.
All right. Take care.
I'm going to tell everyone to read the Sharn Expositor from now on. I'm never going to make fun of that paper again.
Nice. Well, thank you.
Oh my God. It's-
Say, what's your name so I can look for your articles?
Um,
what was that guy's name?
Ralpartha from a different paper.
uh,
He might not appreciate you're associating his name
um,
He
with
could
the
guess
Sharn
right.
Expositor.
hold on one side. There's Wood Bernstein.
Well, okay, Wood, you have a great night.
All right. So things settle down. I'll make my way over to the rest of the group. I'm sure we'll get back together.
You see there, yeah, there are still a few people hanging around. Actually, everybody make me an insight check.
How insightful are we at this hour? Oh, we're very insightful at 2 a.m.
So, Lee and Elzin, you would have noticed that among the crowd of people, there were not a lot, but a few people who didn't seem nearly as excited by all this.
Mm.
And those seem to disproportionately be the people who are still hanging out outside.
Oh, okay. We need to
One of
go
them
talk to
comes
them.
up to Lee
Okay.
and says, "Hi, I'm Genuine Ackles. I heard you say you're with the Sharn Expositor."
Yeah, but sort of kind of working to get, it's hard getting stuff published, but you know, they only pay you for what you get out there, so it's hard to break into the
Because
business.
I'm an imagist for the Sharn Inquisitive. Hadn't actually seen anyone from the Expositor out at these events before.
Yeah, we're just trying to, well, I shouldn't say the word we, I'm trying to expand out there and trying to get them to do different stuff, but I don't know if anybody's going to listen.
I mean, the
Maybe a few.
Expositor doesn't usually do celebrity type stuff. So just surprised to see you here. But hey, if they're branching out or you think you can get them to branch out, more power to them.
I did think I counted 3 breasts on her.
Come on now.
Which is just two really big ones.
It could be a headline.
And and you're here to report on her comings and goings as well?
No, I'm just the imagist. There's a reporter over there who will probably have not much more than a blurb.
So an imagist would be what? He just draws the picture of her or something coming out.
You're not sure what counts as an imagist. It's not a
Okay.
term you've heard used before.
Okay. Okay. So all right, because it's not a term I've heard before. So you're the you do the thing, right? With the
Yep. And you see
sketch.
he reaches a hand up, and in his hand you see mist begins to swirl around and forms into a three-dimensional static image of her.
Wow,
Minor illusion, basically, of what she looks like.
that's impressive. That is okay.
For the high-end paperwork,
Right.
we'll compress this down into a two-dimensional illusion, for the people in Skyway, the people who can afford that sort of
Hmm.
thing. And then
Yeah.
it'll be attached to whatever blurb there is about her returning home after whatever that function was she was at. We have other reporters who are up there covering that. I'm sure it was more interesting than this. This was just hours of standing around listening to people babble on about her. I mean, she's pretty, but not my type.
Yeah. Looks saying everything. Uh, hmm.
What about you, though? Don't see many of your kind in these parts.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's just the way it is.
I don't even know that I've ever seen an Arakakra reporter before. I have, you know, could probably count on one hand the number of times I've seen your race in the city at all.
Yeah. Well, there's only so many fly-in delivery services that I can do. I'm trying to do something different. I don't want to be pigeonholed into one thing.
I mean, hey, good for you for branching out. I mean, if you did like delivery work, I guess I'm afraid I don't know that much about Aarakocra, but I guess it makes sense that that would be a pretty easy job for you guys to take on here in the
Right.
city, messenger type work.
Right. Yep. You
I'm sure
typecast all the time with these wings.
the Civis people are less than thrilled about that, but natural talents and all.
Right.
Well, why don't you come over and, join up with the other reporters? We can compare.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of look to the other my companions, kind of like, let's go, come on over, let's go.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I am the
So he
leader.
leads you over to like there's this knot of four other people, none of whom, all of whom appear to be dressed somewhat professionally. None of them are in like clothes as nice as Lee is wearing. It's not fine clothes, but it's work clothes for a reporter. One of them reaches out a hand towards Lee. Sharn Expositor, eh?
Yeah.
Guess
Yeah.
they're
Well, I'm just not, trying to get my foot in the door. Just it's tough trying to break through. So
what's your name? Or at least your
what?
name on your byline.
Wood Bernstein.
Wood Bernstein. Not sure I heard that one before.
Probably haven't. It's like I said, it's this is a tough nut to crack, even for someone with a beak. But you can just gotta keep at it. Keep your talons to the grindstone.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, you could probably not having seen your work, I couldn't make any promises, but I feel like you could do better than the Shard Expositor. I thought they just made things up. I guess that's unfair. Sometimes I know they interview people, but they tend to interview people who I would think are a little bit, you know, nuts.
Yeah, well, I just you can't you know, you
So
gotta go with what you can, you know.
what is the truth about this bat baby you were writing about today?
Oh, you mean me? No, I didn't specifically write about it.
Right, it
Yeah, I
wasn't
heard about
your.
it. I read the article, of course. Yeah, yeah.
So, but I mean, like that's probably not true, but I mean, not
Right.
completely implausible that something could be born with bat-like traits. Is there such a kid? Because it was the first I'd heard about it.
I mean, makes sense to me.
I mean, that sort of thing would be common in Rome, right?
I don't know about common. They, have a lot of monsters, but not necessarily monsters born to human mothers. Like I
Yeah.
said, though, it's a crazy world. Anything's possible,
Right. Truth is out there.
right? And frankly, that story about the brainwashed husband, that seems pretty plausible.
Oh yeah.
The trust has its fingers in everything. That's
So
why you
what
can't trust gnomes.
is that the Sharn Inquisitive piece?
You see, no, that was from the expositor today. That was like
No.
the front page story. Do you work with the expositor?
Ah, yes, I am the lyricist.
They have a lyricist?
Sometimes we craft these into craft the sometimes they're trying out a song division as a new way
That's
to reach a new audience.
that is news to me. Have they published songs?
Not yet, but check tomorrow's edition.
Or check your local tavern. Who knows what they might be singing?
Yeah, you could see, by the way, a couple of the other reporters did not react well to his comments about gnomes. None of them are gnomes, but he may have been being slightly offensive there.
Yeah, I figured. I figured he was.
So what were you hoping to get from tonight's coverage of
Oh,
these?
not not all that much, to be honest. I mean, we're all pretty junior. I gather you guys are as well. So
Right.
the real action, it would have been a step up if we were assigned to the gala up in the Skyway, like fancier interviews. The people actually will talk to you there sometimes, and you know, that is a much bigger deal. This waiting to see when the most famous celebrity comes home. We'll get like a line at most in the paper tomorrow.
Why even bother?
I mean, you'd be surprised. A lot of people are very interested in her to a degree that makes no sense almost because she is famous, as near as I can tell, for being pretty.
Does she have a reputation besides that?
Yes. I mean, if you listen to some of the stories, and I don't know if they're true, she's actually very accomplished, but when you think about it, like nobody even knows how she gets her money. We know she's from Sire. We know she turned up in Sharn after the morning. She showed up in Sharn seemingly with bags of cash. So she must have really come from some extremely wealthy family in Sire. A lot of people who left Sire found their letters of credit were no good since all of Sire was destroyed and a lot of their money with it. But I guess she was one of the lucky ones.
Hmm.
But I'm told she's, you know, charismatic and brilliant. So she definitely hit the lottery on that stuff.
Yeah.
Wealthy, famous, beautiful, smart, and well regarded. I don't think I've heard anyone say anything negative about her. I was half hoping that the expositor was going to come out with some little scandal, but it doesn't seem as though that's what's going on. Are you going to write a song about her? Is that the plan? I mean, they sent a lyricist.
Everything's on the table.
I mean, there are definitely songs that can be written about her.
Hmm.
I suppose. So what songs have you written so far? Not necessarily for the expositor since it's a new venture, but
Oh, when the beasts came barking home. It is one of my favorites about a an adventure that I had in Rome a while ago. Uh, all roads on the Talenta Plain lead to Sharn is my favorite, personal favorite. It's close to my heart. And of course, I have a body song that I like that I personally like. I'm trying to get it more widely published and sung by the different bards in the city.
Are you talking about the Breland Booty Shakers one?
Ah, yes, that is exactly it.
oh, how does that one go?
Sing it.
We could, yeah, it's just you see a couple other people join in with this random armored person's call for you to sing it.
I cannot do it justice. It needs a proper bard.
Yeah. There's no booty shaking going on.
Yeah, I am a lyricist, not a singer.
They will accept that.
Greenland booty shakers.
I was
There's
hoping for
some,
some freestyle booty shaking lyrics.
say some of the words.
Surely you can recite the words, though.
Uh, I'm not
You
gonna.
see, the image just steps up and says, "Come on, you're clearly embarrassing the fellow. Just leave him alone."
You will hear it soon enough. It'll be in bars all across Sharn. Starting from starting from middle of Tavik's Landing and heading upwards.
Well, we'll be able to say we met the lyricist before the lyricist became famous, I guess. And he turns back and says to the group and says, "Well, fellas, seems as though the event is over. It doesn't seem like anything else interesting is going to be going on tonight. So I am going to head home and consolidate what few notes I have about this boring ass celebrity event."
Oh, yeah. Before you guys go, do you have a card or anything? I mean, some kind of info in case want to get in contact with you and come and shoot the bull and go to the tavern and sing about the
Uh,
Breland Booty Shakers.
so we're not, this group of reporters is like so junior and unimportant that they
Right.
don't have cards.
Oh, see, I figured they would.
Ralph Partha had a card,
Yeah,
but
but
he
he's
apparently
he's
little,
corporate.
yeah, little more higher up in the echelon of the reporters.
So I
These
grabbed
are
my expositor paper that I've been holding. I was like, just write your name and where I can find you. So we in case we our junior folks got to stick together. I mean, that's how we're going to break into this business.
So let me see how well you do by giving me a
Oh,
persuasion
God.
check.
Persuasion. Oh, God. Oh, see, I'm rolling pretty good, even though my persuasion sucks.
So yeah,
No,
three
that's
of them.
I rolled
That's
performance, but
performance.
it's the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, three of them write their names down and
Okay.
give you an address. Two of them give an address that you realize are probably the address of their newspaper.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
But yeah, the guy from the Sharn Inquisitive, the address he gives is in what is this section? It's in Middle Tavik's Landing, and so probably not where the Sharn Inquisitive is.
Okay. All right. Well, I
So
hear.
they disperse. You see people
Okay.
start coming out of the building and begin to sort of take the ropes down now that the crowd is gone.
Hmm.
Well, shall we head back?
Yeah, I think we should.
Just like take a look back at the building.
I look at the
Actually,
paper.
I am so glad you guys didn't spend the 800 gold pieces on the detect thought scroll because I realized she would have this ring way before this.
Yeah, I mean,
That is not a contrivance. That is on her character sheet.
no, that's fine. If it wasn't as expensive, I would have taken the risk. But for that much
Yeah.
money and the risk of
Yeah.
us not getting anything out of it,
We might
I got
maybe get that scroll at some point because it could be useful,
yeah.
but we don't need it. We didn't need it.
Yeah.
Uh, the Sharn Expositor. If I look in the paper somewhere, do I know where the paper is itself? Like,
There is nothing in the newspaper that says where to find its offices.
okay,
Like you are only guessing. You've read the Sharn Inquisitive. You didn't see an address for them either.
okay,
But you are guessing from the fact that it's like Upper Central Plateau addresses that they gave, and
okay.
given that these guys don't look super wealthy, that they just gave you like an office address, not a home address. Like I said, the other guy, Middle Tavik's Landing, is plausibly a home address for him, and almost certainly not where the Sharn Inquisitive is.
Right. No, I'm talking about the Expositor. I don't know where that is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like listed in the paper itself. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
it would definitely be easy to find.
Right.
It is actually in the middle central plateau, so not even the upper central plateau.
Okay. All right.
Um, so you could easily find it if you want to know what its address is.
Okay. Yeah, it's too, yeah, it's very late. Let's just head back. I have an idea,
Yeah, we might be thinking the same thing.
but yeah.
We could certainly get some attention by
Oh yeah.
getting some things
Yeah.
published into that newspaper.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we'll head back.
So you make your way back. It takes like another hour for you to cross over from where you are and then down a level again. But you wind up back at the Watchman's Rest. It's about 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
The door opens. The bar is pretty much empty. There is a man behind the bar, but he appears to just be doing the cleanup.
Okay.
Um, I'll approach that guy actually. Like, do you have anything that's like it doesn't even have to be warm, just something, food,
Uh,
bread.
I think I could get you some bread and cheese, but that's about it.
I would appreciate it.
I have no idea what these things cost. I don't do like the service work, but wait here.
I mean, if you could tell me where to go, I'll get it.
Better than I get it. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for this or not.
Uh,
But he walks through a door behind the bar,
I'll
and
give
like
him a gold
a
to
minute
to
later,
handle it.
and he drops it into the till. He brings out a small, like 16-ounce loaf of bread and a wedge of cheese.
Much obliged. I'll just take it up to my room.
So yeah, you guys are still sharing the same room, room C on the second floor. Uh, you go inside. Pebble still appears to be, he's looking a little better. He can't really turn green around the gills, but his expression looks like he's recovered somewhat.
He's got that little bubble coming out of his nose.
Layrith's been watching him, so he's probably asleep.
Right. Layrith is definitely asleep at this point. I assume so. There's like th four beds, and then there was the cot that they brought in because there were five of you. Um, I just assume because Lee doesn't sleep that Lee probably took the cot.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just sit on the cot
So,
and
so Layrith is in one of the beds asleep, as is Pebble.
Yeah, I just eat some of the bread, some of the cheese, and I figured it's should be good for if anybody else wants a snack.
Elzen would have some. Um, see. Yeah, he would have some. Um, and then like crawl into bed. Yeah, with that unceremoniously, since it is so late in the evening or early in the morning.
Do you all get into bed? Are you going to try to get like a full 8 hours sleep? Because it's like pushing four when you finally fall asleep.
Well, we didn't have anything to get to, particularly in the
right.
morning.
Yeah. So
So yeah, I think so.
Because I guarantee you Pebble is going to wake you up because he's going to be feeling better in the morning.
Mhm. Um, we tell him to go exploring. He's got to learn to navigate this city by himself.
oh god.
And it's I don't
And
know.
Pebble was never seen again.
I did not think that's a good idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can easily imagine if you tell Pebble to go explore, which I can imagine Thalderen doing, just like asleep. Yeah, go explore.
Yeah.
And Pebble being like, okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would
So
No.
probably
you're
Instead, in the morning, if he comes to try and wake me up, I'm like, go to Elzen, go to Elzen.
so yeah, Pebble comes over and starts to shake you and like is kind of like up on top of the bed with you since the bed is like medium sized, so plenty of room. And he starts like bouncing and says, "Hey, Elsie, come on. Daughter had said we could go explore."
we got to bed very late last night. We were out all day and had an assignment. I need more sleep. I've got maybe 3 hours in.
Okay. I guess I could go explore by myself. Let me
Don't
go see if Lily wants to go explore.
don't stray too far.
So he goes and starts jumping on Lily's bed.
Lily,
Layrith, yeah,
ignores him.
Layrith wakes up briefly and like looks around for something to throw, but doesn't see anything and falls back asleep.
Well, he should be rested enough. He should be. Hey,
I mean,
take take the
he's the
kid
one who had
out.
to watch. He had to watch Pebble the whole night.
Shit.
So eventually, Pebble goes off exploring by himself, as I assume Lee will also want to get a full night's rest.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where we can wrap it up for the night. It's almost one here. I actually did expect you to try to pull off this heist. I don't necessarily know how you were going to do it or if you were going to get caught, but I
we
expected you
were
to try.
we definitely would have got caught. 100% would have gotten caught.
Yeah. It seemed like it seemed like it would have been a good idea, except there wasn't like
Too many unknown variables.
there was too many unknowns. Um,
Yeah, so I mean, to sort of mirror the situation, one thing we should probably do is before next session, like just feel free to like group email what you might want to think about trying, and I can give you some feedback on it. There was absolutely nothing wrong with your plan, like for example, to cast Dispel Magic on the balcony or to try to drop something down from like high above it. I don't know how, like anyone other than Lee would be able to drop anything from high above it, but presumably there's a radius on this wingbind effect. Earthbind? Earthbind is the name of the spell. So presumably if you go high enough, uh, Lee can fly over the building and drop something down. There are guards in the building, so possible you could get seen. You might still
That's
have to, if you dropped a rope, it'd have to be like 200 feet of rope to get to the bottom.
yeah.
But and then, like I said, there are other apartments that may not be quite so secure as the topmost ones. It is absolutely not out of the realm of possibility that you could bluff your way past the concierge or try to break the device at the entrance or
so
bluff
yeah,
your way into people thinking you're workmen and coming in through the workman's entrance.
yeah. So I suppose we could potentially get into somebody else's apartment that is more accessible, and then we're inside.
Right, you're in the building. Then there's like the how do you get up to the top floor and
Find
will
them
you get se
stairs.
right? Will you be seen by somebody when you're trying to go that way?
Yeah, well, they
So,
had like separate
We
key cards
we
like
should
per floor too.
we should
So
see if
right.
maybe
Well,
we
that's
can
that's if you're using the lift. So the alternative that Vareen suggested was if you're just climbing the elevator shaft, that's a different proposition. It's basically like, having to have like a work pass to use the elevator in a building.
yeah,
mhm.
But if you're, in the elevator shaft, though, you don't need the work pass.
yeah.
But there
I
is a
mean,
stairwell that goes up as well as the lift itself.
yeah. I suppose like um I would probably be more keen on trying the dispel magic approach. We would just need to make sure I have enough gold to buy it. Because if it was 800 gold for detect thoughts, spell magic is going to be more, I think.
Comparable at least, I think.
Yeah. So we
You
would,
also don't know if that guy's prices were fair. You
yeah.
never really worked that out.
Yeah, we
But
gotta
I
go.
think we probably
And
want to have more gold on us.
right, I will tell you, if you ask Tick, she'll say he was trying to rip you off. Like
Mm.
that it should not have been that expensive for a second level spell scroll.
Hmm. Well, yeah, though that's good to know. Um,
But, Dispel Magic still might be more than 800 gold pieces.
yeah, I mean it's a third level. But yeah, I guess I would be more keen on that than trying to like work our way from the bottom, just because then we can drop in, we can pack 200 feet of rope or 4 coils of 50 feet and
And
tie
trust
it together.
trust 4 knots very heavily because if any one of them fails.
Yeah,
Actually, even with 4 coils of rope, you probably need to go buy extra potions of climbing because like climbing up a rope 160 feet is a lot,
yeah,
or at least feather tokens.
yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, I think that would probably be the way I would do or would go.
So yeah, but you guys can think about it and, possibly loop Mike into the conversation.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you for running.
We start by dropping Pebble off at the daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Have a
See
good
you.
Talk to you guys later.
Take it easy.
night. Yeah.